Good morning, and God bless you all out there in YouTube land. I am Monroe Hoskins, better known as the Preacher, diesel mechanic. I'm moving, moving a tractor as we speak. But I was thinking on today about how that God has to fix and change us. And sometimes the thing we mess up at is trying to fix and change ourselves. Alright, the guy that brought this truck in couldn't fix it. So he brought the truck to the shop. Two people that are authorized to fix such things as his truck. And sometimes that's where we normally mess up with God. We try to do things that can no one do but God. And we have to get out of there. Trying to fix our own problems, it's nothing wrong with, working at things, but some things like the nature of sin and such things like that, we can't fix or justify. It's up to God to do those things for us. Like I said, this guy brought his tractor in because he couldn't fix it himself. It took someone else to fix it, another man. And that's what I'm getting to. Jesus have to fix us. Another man, we have to bring ourselves to the Lord so that he can fix us. Because we can't fix our inner man. We can't fix ourselves. And that is our biggest problem. We want to put God off the saying is, when I get myself together. But you can't get yourself together to be good enough for God. God have to get you together for himself so he can fulfill the purpose that he has for us. And we can't make ourselves be good enough for God. The only way we can do that is by repenting, asking God for forgiveness, and have him to let him do as he will with us. Present ourselves as a living sacrifice is what the Bible said. So that God may be able to do what he wants with us. We have to be submissive in our spirit, and submissive to instructions, to leadership. We have to be humble so we can hear and learn the ways of God, because a lot of people think, and even I, before I had given my life to God, just think I knew a lot because I went to church. Like I knew so much about God, but you have to have a born again experience, a new birth in life, a new birth in God, to understand him and to because it's a spiritual thing. God is a spirit, and they who worship God must worship him in spirit and in truth. And the truth is in Jesus. So we can't get this truth unless we submit ourselves to it and abide by it and let it live in us, let it dwell in us richly. We have to become for God use and God use only. We have to get rid of the I'm gonna get you back spirit and all those type of things. We can't live like that. And we can't justify wrongdoings, by the flesh. We think that we can do certain things because people did certain things to us. We can't do that. We have to do like the Bible said, turn the other cheek. But we can't have that power. We don't have that power to do so unless we have the power of God. And we have to have the power of God to do these things because man can't do these things on his own. You can only tell a man without God can only take so much before he lash out and do something silly, do something that'll cause detriment. And that's what's going on in this world now. A whole lot of get back, or people are envious of or jealous and take things from folks, even take people's lives because they don't have the power, or the weight, to be patient and wait on the Lord. It's sickening out here in this world, but we have to have God to make it through it. I've been stressing this for a long time. We can't do this on our own. before I got saved, and gave my life to God, I had a drug addiction, cocaine and alcohol. I smoked cigarettes. I used to smoke weed and stuff, but I had left the weed alone. And graduated to powder cocaine, and that was my choice of drug. But I always, sometimes would say stupid things like, I can stop when I want to, or whenever I'm ready, I can stop. But that was the drugs or the enemy tricking me to think that I can do these things on my own. Because by the time I said I can stop when I want to stop, or I'm going to stop when I get myself together and all this kind of stuff, I was never progressing into stopping. I was only doing more than what I was doing at first. Gradually graduating to more. Not realizing the time that I was wasting, the precious time that I was wasting, taking my own self out of here. And I knew one night that if I would have died in that predicament, that I was going to hell. I saw it. God showed it to me. He showed me death. He haven't showed me hell, but he showed me that I was finna die, and that I had death on me. But I knew that if I would have died in that state of being, that I was going to hell. But the thing is, it's not all about drugs and alcohol that God want to cure us and clean us from. He want to cleanse us from the nature of sin that we all are born in. And we have to get that right, because sometimes people think just because they have a good heart or do things for others, don't smoke, don't drink, married and faithful and all that kind of stuff, and that's a good thing, but it's not good enough for God. You have to repent and give it all to God. God wants us to depend on him, because he is very dependable. And we owe that to God, to put his son, let his son go die on and hang on the cross for us as an ultimate sacrifice. We do God the glory. We do God that. It's only right for us to give ourselves to God, because that was the reason why he gave his son to us. And like I said, we not that good of people to say that we're good enough for God. When sin bothers God, God hates sin. And we were born in the nature of sin. He hates the sin in us, not us. But we cannot live and be with God or to complete our purpose with sin in us. God will have to take that out. That's why we can't be completed or perfect. And people say we can't be perfect. We can be perfect, and perfect in the will and love of God to do the things that he asks of us to do. Not perfect, by making a mistake or miscounting time or money or tripping up or putting on the wrong two shoes or yelling blue or whatever don't match. All that kind of perfect. Not that kind of perfect. But I'm talking about the perfect will of God. We want to be able to live in that perfect will of God. We have to be sanctified, which means separated for the use of God. So we won't be dwelling in this world, although we live in this world. If you understand what I'm saying, we can't continue living in sin and expecting it to get to heaven or to a promised place that God has for us. That Jesus said, I go to prepare a place. He's prepared a place for us. But there's also a place prepared for sinners. It's called hell, and it's real. So I just wanted to stop in and share this message with you people out in YouTube. It's my page. I'm just starting it up. I will be on here more often to share videos. So if you see it, like it, share it, spread the word, because it's just the gospel that I will be teaching and preaching on here. Because now is the time to come into the ark of safety. Like Noah always preached about the ark, because it was finna rain. And that's what's raining now. The destruction is raining now. It won't come in a form of water, but it's coming in destructive. If you see how many people are dying rapidly, so fast, at a rapid pace, it's like we barely hanging on in here, to life. Life is so fragile now, and it's hard to come by. I had a message yesterday I put on Facebook, was the tomorrows are harder to come by or to get to. because you never know what's going to happen in the todays. We're dealing with corona, we're dealing with gang violence, we're dealing with young people, we're dealing with riots, we're dealing with other sickness and ailments and other things in sin. It's just sin. We're dealing with sin itself, and we have to come out of the life of sin to get in with God. And that's the whole purpose. We have to let God fix us, because we can't fix ourselves. It's impossible. You can't go in and clean the inner man yourself. God has to justify you and purify you and clean you, wash you with the precious blood of the Lamb. But I'd encourage you to seek after God, not just his hand, but his face, for who he is, for who he really is, and what he really can do for you or to you, because he can do a lot, but he wants to do something to you. He wants to change you. He wants to change us all before the time of death, before we transition into death, because after death, there's everlasting life. You don't die after that, and you're not necessarily going to heaven. Everybody's not going to heaven. God is not calling everybody home to be with him. Sinners not going home to be with God. If you're not saved, or sometimes people say, well, I'm saved, but I'm not saved like you. No, you have to be saved. We all got to be saved the same way. We can't do things of the world and expect to be saved. What are you saved from? If you're saved, what are you saved from? You're saved from sin and all the such lights that sin carry. We can't keep justifying or procrastinating, holding on to the world and trying to live for God at the same time. We have to do either one or the other. That's all you can do. So I suggest that you give your life to God before it's too late, because hell is real and people are dying and going there every day, daily, as we speak. Somebody dying and going to hell right now. And it's sad. It's nothing to I'm preaching and glorifying. It's not, because God is not pleased or happy with the wicked that's going to the lake of fire, that's dying and being damned. God's not pleased with that. That's why he called us in, so we can have a relationship and a status to be with him. But like I said, it's time to let Jesus fix us, because we can't do it ourselves. We don't have the proper tools. The man that brought this truck in here, he didn't have the proper tools or the knowledge, the know-how to do this. God made us, so he have the know-how. He have the proper tools, the equipment. He is equipped to do his job. So give God a try and stop trying to do it yourself before you end up in hell. Before you end up in hell, think about that. Your soul, this body, spiritual body, your soul, it's going to burn in hell for eternity. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't go to sleep. You can't eat. You can't drink. You're suffering the whole time. Oh my God, think about it. Is it worth it? Is it worth what you're doing right now or holding on to? It's hell. If your body, is you worth going? Is that worth? Is it worth it? That's all it is. Is it worth it? Ask yourself that. Is it worth it? That's the question. But God bless you all. Think about it. Don't think long, because it ain't nothing to think about. It's just a choice you have to make for yourself. Be blessed.